Good evening, everybody. It is draft night. If you guys are watching live, I appreciate you guys. If you guys are watching this after the draft, you guys can pick around and choose when you guys want to watch. We are in commercial break. We have about 5 minutes till the draft actually starts. I wanted to start us off a little bit slow here before we actually get into the actual draft. I want to talk about 5 things that I expect to happen in this year's draft. Now, like I said, we are a few hours away, a few minutes away from the actual start of the draft, so let's hop into it. So the number one thing I expect to happen in this year's draft is I expect that there's going to be a lot of offensive players participating in this year's first round. I think it's going to be more than 20 players in this year's draft who are going to be offensive players. I think you're going to see potentially 5 quarterbacks being taken, maybe a running back. I doubt it. Brock Bowers will be taken. Probably 7 to 8 offensive linemen are going to be taken. The receivers class is loaded. It's going to be an offensive oriented draft. I'm interested to see who's going to be the number one defensive player, who's going to be brought up in this year's draft. If I had to guess, it might be Byron Murphy. What's up, Ricky? How you doing? But regardless, I'm interested to see what teams trade. That's the biggest thing. The next thing I expect is to expect the unexpected. Expect something that we all expect to happen to not happen. Expect the Giants to make a trade, or the Eagles, or the Cowboys. Somebody's going to make a trade that's going to be absolutely ridiculous, but it's going to completely change their trajectory as a franchise, as well as the trajectory of the entire draft. All right, we're back from commercial break now, so they are about to get the commissioner on stage here. I think number one overall pick is going to be Caleb Williams. I think that's a pretty much, I think that's kind of a lock, to be honest with you. I think Caleb Williams will go number one. I think Drake May or Jaden Daniels will go two, and then I think one of Jaden Daniels or Drake May will go three. To me, the start of the draft really comes at pick 5 to the LA Chargers. I think as long as the first 4 picks don't get traded, I think it's pretty obvious what they're going to take there. The next thing I expect to happen in this year's draft, I think one of Bo Nix or Michael Penix will fall out of the first round. If I had to guess, I think it's going to be Bo Nix. A lot of recent rumors have come out that the Giants are interested in Michael Penix. And there's a lot of teams that have been interested in Penix, so it's going to be interesting. Also, right before the draft, AJ Brown just got an extension with the Eagles. 3 years, I think 96 million, so that's 32 million a year, something crazy like that. That's a big deal for guys like CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson who are looking for new contracts. So that's interesting. It's a good move for the it's a good move for the Eagles, securing their best player, arguably on their team. It's a good move. What's up, Freeth? How are you doing? Again, I think the first 4 picks are pretty obvious here, unless there's a big time trade, which I don't suspect there will be. I think the first 4 picks are obvious. Also, if I'm looking down, I'm looking at the actual show, so just keep that in mind. Who are the Falcons taking at 8? I just started hearing Malik Neighbors instead of Dallas Turner. What do you think? If I had to guess, first of all, if Malik Neighbors is the pick, that would be a fantastic piece to put alongside him and the dude they got from Chicago. You have Drake London, Malik Neighbors. I can't remember his name, but the dude from Chicago. That's a deadly receiving core to go along with Kyle Pitts and Bijan. I don't think it's going to be Malik Neighbors because I think he might be taken beforehand, but hey, if he's available, that could be nice. I think it's going to be either Laiatu Latu or Jared Verse, though. That would be my guess. I don't think it'll be Dallas Turner. I don't think it's going to be Dallas Turner. It'd be cool though if it was Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner's a good player. I personally prefer Jared Verse though because I think he's a better run stuffer over Dallas Turner. Dude, there was so many Detroit Lions fans there. I know it's in Detroit, but damn. Lions fans showed up. I think after this commercial break, we're going to get started on this year's draft. So I'm nervous, but I'm also excited. I was going to do a mock draft before this, but I decided to take it back because it wouldn't make much sense to do a mock draft the day of the draft. I wonder what team is going to be the team that makes the big time move in this year's draft. Like, I heard Philadelphia might be a team that's going to look to make a big time trade to get a cornerback, but I'm still waiting for anything to come out with Minnesota. Does Minnesota make the trade happen? Does the Raiders or the Broncos or the, Cowboys, maybe? It's going to be interesting. Going to be interesting. I got a Falcons and a Lions fan. Let me tell you guys, the Lions probably will be the best team in the NFC next year, depending on what the 49ers do. And then I think right below them would be the Falcons. Like right now, my NFC rankings, like before the draft, Lions 1, Niners 2, Philly 3, or Philly 3, Falcons 4, maybe Cowboys 5. But then you can probably talk me into like Packers at 6, to be honest with you. Hell, it's Chicago. If Chicago nails this draft, I mean, they're going to get Caleb Williams and somebody else. I think the Lions pick what, 28th, 29th, something like that. That's a good question. I wonder what the Lions are going to do, because there was some conversations being said that they're going to take a specific player that they really want, and I really wonder who that specific player is. Typically, the Lions are more of that, hard nose, running up your throat, physical type of team. Kool-Aid. That's who I would want if I was a Lions fan too. Kool-Aid McKinstry, I mean, smart, physical, good tackler, strong in run support, good in coverage. Doesn't have the greatest speed, long-term speed, and elusiveness, but man, the dude he's a killer. He's a killer. He would be a fantastic fit for the Lions, because they need a corner, especially after the Cameron Sutton situation, which is really sad, to be honest with you. That is a lot of Lions fans. That is a wow. Also, those Lions uniforms, what are we talking about? Those are ridiculously good. The blue helmets, those are nice. All right, commissioner is coming out right now. Wouldn't mind Nate Wiggins either. I think the thing with Nate Wiggins is I don't think he's a good fit for Dan Campbell's system. Like, Dan Campbell wants a big, rugged, physical, run stuffing cornerback who can get, physical and run support. Nate Wiggins can't tackle to save his life. Coverage wise, though, he might be one of the best in the drafts, though. If it's not a corner for the Lions, expected to be a guard slash center, could be like a Frazier or a Jackson Powers Johnson, would both be good fits for that team as well. Or a defensive edge rusher to go along with Aiden Hutchinson. You're probably talking about Jared Verse, Latu, somebody like that. That would be interesting. Oh my god, they have Eminem in a commercial. I think Eminem's gonna come on stage. My favorite new uniforms are the Lions. The Texans don't look bad either. Yeah, the only uniform that I really haven't liked so far is the Broncos, but I'm also willing to give the Broncos a chance to see it on the field. I just don't like their new white helmet. I think it's a really weird look, but the Texans uniforms are nice too. I mean, the red ones, those are nice. All right, Commissioner's on the clock now. He is going to be on stage, getting the show on the road. It sucks because after this next couple of days, there's going to be nothing going on in the NFL for like a 4-month period till preseason starts, but it is what it is. They got Eminem on stage. That's great. What a great timing for Detroit to have the draft. I mean, this is the most hyped up season they've had in quite some time. They're a damn good team. They might win it all next year, to be honest with you. Oh, they got a surprise for us. Eminem's on the microphone. Oh, they got Jared Goff coming out. Okay, I think that's is that Barry Sanders? Nope, that's Amon Ra and Aiden Hutchinson. Okay, and they got some studs, dude. Is that Laporta? No. Oh, Megatron. Okay, Barry Sanders now coming out. I'm jealous, Freeth. I'm jealous, man. This dude's in paradise right now. He's seeing all his favorite players. That's dope. That is actually really dope. I'm not even a Lions fan, but I do like the Lions a lot. They're one of my favorite teams. Not my favorite team, but one of. They're doing a Jared Goff thing. What? Is it because he wants to get a contract? That's probably why, because they just paid him. He needs to get his contract, man. Pay that dude. Dude, Barry is so short. I mean, he's shorter than Amon Ra. We just really like chanting Jared Goff. That's fair. He's a good quarterback. Oh, then they just boo Roger Goodell. That's great. Oh no, I haven't seen that. I'll have to look that up. Jared Goff just getting chanted at Red Wings, Pistons, Tigers, and random games. That's tough. Jared Goff chants in Pistons games is crazy. If that's true, that's crazy. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about with the Pistons this year, so might as well talk about the football team. All right, here we go. Chicago Bears. They're all. Oh, dude, Caleb Williams is about to get booed off the stage, dude. He's about to get booed off the stage by Lions fans. He's about to get booed off the stage. That's so funny. All right, Chicago Bears on the clock. Not a whole lot to talk about here. We've been talking about it the past 3 months now. The conversation between is it Caleb, is it Drake May? It's kind of been answered. Now it's going to be Caleb Williams. This is a fantastic pick for the Chicago Bears. To be in a situation to get Caleb Williams makes sense. I mean, listen, Justin Fields has a lot of promise and potential, but it was pretty obvious and clear that he wasn't going to be the franchise guy, even though he showed some flashes and some good spark plays here and there. This dude, Caleb Williams, is legit like a superstar potential guy. I really just hope they don't take the full 10 minutes, but I would put money on it. They're going to take at least 6 minutes of our time, but pretending like they're not going to take Caleb Williams. If this is not Caleb Williams, that would be a massive mistake, and that would be one of the craziest draft moments I've ever seen. But it's going to be Caleb Williams here. Great arm talent, can play in structure, out of structure, very accurate, very elusive, sneaky good athlete. He has some off the field concerns, which a lot of people are concerned about. I'm not concerned about it at all. I'd be okay with this guy being my franchise quarterback. Who would you rather have, Jayden Daniels or Drake May? That is like the question everyone's asking. I'm a Drake May guy. I think Drake May has the higher ceiling. Jayden Daniels a little bit older, not as good as a passer as Drake May, much more athletic, but I actually prefer Drake May's athleticism because he's a little bit more of that Josh Allen like runner, a Justin Herbert like runner as well, where he's going to take some hits, but he's going to be able to, take the hits because he's a bigger body guy. I have like my quarterback rankings is Caleb, Drake, Jayden, and then 4 is Michael Penix, and then 5 would be JJ McCarthy, but I'm a lot higher. I think there's a good solid, big tier between Daniels and Drake May. Like Caleb is his own. He's one of one. Drake May's in like that, 1B. Like in most drafts, he'd be the number one overall pick. And then Jaden Daniels to me is like a step below Drake May, but he's still a good player. And I think he'd be a good fit for Washington given what play style they're more than likely going to be playing with. But it'll be interesting. I think Washington will go with Drake May, though. I don't know why they just haven't called up Caleb Williams, man. They just got to waste our time. Man, if it's not Caleb Williams. I hope it's Caleb Williams because, okay, he's taking the call. He just took the call. All right, Caleb Williams confirmed number one overall pick. Caleb Williams, man. I want to hear the reaction from the crowd when this happens. Yeah, I think the first couple picks here is going to be Caleb, Jaden, and then Drake at 3, and then Marvin at 4. I think the Chargers are probably going to trade down with Minnesota. I'm going to be staying up till midnight for our pick at this rate. Yeah, dude, we're going to be here a while. We're going to be here a while. I don't know, like, the end of the draft might be, it's 7 o'clock over here. Probably won't end until like 11:30ish my time. So we're talking about a 4-hour live stream, 4 hours of watching this. It'll be interesting. Oh, hold on. They said Caleb Williams took one official visit with Chicago, and that was he didn't do any other official visits with no other teams. Tells you everything you need to know right there. Honestly though, like if you're on the back end of the first round, like Dallas or Dallas or Detroit or one of those teams, trading back to get a second round pick and potentially like a fourth or a fifth rounder might be worth it because this is a pretty good sized draft, honestly. Granted, it'd be kind of lame if you stayed up the entire time just to not have a first round pick, but I don't think it'd be a bad thing per se. Yeah, they're gonna take the full 10 minutes. The full 10. You've had 2, 3 months, and probably even before them, to make this selection, and you're gonna take the full 10 minutes. This is probably just a stick it to Detroit fans, honestly. 4 minutes left. We all know who the pick's gonna be here. It's probably gonna happen for ETH at this point. I did hear that if the player that they want isn't on the board, they're gonna trade down. So I would keep that in mind if I was you. But again, like honestly, like if you're a team like Baltimore, San Francisco, one of those teams past like the 23rd overall pick, you can honestly trade back, get even more draft compensation, take your guy who you want in the second round, and more than likely probably still get the guy you want. I mean, there's so much talent in this year's draft. Like there's going to be 4 or 5 to 10 plus guys in the second round who I think in most drafts would be first rounders. Like it's a legitimately strong draft. Especially like if you're going to trade from like let's say you get a second and a fourth for your first round pick, and let's say the second round pick is like pick 36, you move back like what 10 spots, you still get the guy you want, plus you get another draft pick to work with later in the draft. I would take it. All right, pick is in. Who we got? Oh, we already know. All right, here we go. He's gonna get booed out of the. Yep. All right, Caleb Williams, pick number one. Again, they're getting a very talented quarterback prospect. Ridiculous upside, elite accuracy, good in and out of the rhythm of the offense. Really, he's a. I don't want to say like a perfect prospect, but we're talking about one of the top prospects out there. He's worthy of the number one overall pick. The only reason why people don't like the guy, some of the off the field issues, which I think are overblown. His suit, by the way, looks really sharp. That's a really good looking suit. And I don't think the nails are painted. So if you put money on it, you're good. Oh, he's screaming. I heard the commissioner just had back surgery, by the way. Hope he doesn't hurt his back. Good for him. All the people saying that he didn't want to be a Chicago Bear. Seems pretty happy to me. Oh, Lions fans are giving him the words. All right, Bears have their franchise guy, man. They look like a legitimately good team. Just made a video on them. They have the pieces to make a serious playoff run next year. Will they make the playoffs? I don't know. Depends how good Caleb Williams is. But man, that is a very, very good team. Also, you guys can see. Hold on. Oh well, whatever. I mean, this is a really good pick for them. I'm interested to see what they do with their second first round pick. Their job's not done today, but this is a good pick for them. This is exactly what they needed to do. This is the franchise altering guy that this franchise has needed. I like this pick, man. I wonder what the reaction is going to be from Bears fans, like when they have a down game. Like if they're losing to a team like Detroit, for example, are they going to give him the business? Because there's a lot of Bears fans who really like Justin Fields, and I don't blame them. But I mean, man, dude, what a good pick for them. Trying to get this little like corner piece like not in frame. All right, that's a little better. DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet, potentially Aroma Dunze or Malik Neighbors. Probably gonna not be. Oh, his nails actually are painted. Then white. I think his pinkies or something. Tears of joy. That's cool, man. That's cool. All right, Washington at number 2. I do think the pick will be Jaden Daniels. I would prefer it to be Drake May, but I do think it's going to be Jaden Daniels right here. He's doing the interview right now, by the way. What I think of the destroying injury, man, it's really tough, man. I was rooting for him with the I don't even know what team it was on, the San Antonio Brahmas, I think it was. Really tough. If you're if whoever's watching this, if you do play like high school football or anything like that, bro, like you can get seriously injured on just a routine tackle on a kickoff. If you're not careful with your neck, I mean, dude, it's just sad. Like, dude hurt his neck. I mean, probably will never play football again. honestly, like for just being real. It's just disappointing because, he put a lot of work into it. Now NFL guy or YouTube guy just sucks, but it's not like he's going to be deprived of money by any means. It's just that, his dreams of being an NFL player at some point kind of over, to be honest with you. Just kind of sucks. I do wonder though if the recovery process goes well, if he'll get another opportunity in the XFL. That would be pretty cool in my opinion, but we'll wait and see on that one. 2 minutes left for Washington. They've already made the phone call. We don't know who it is. Oh, Caleb is hanging out with fans. That's great. I think the pick is going to be Jayden Daniels. I would prefer it to be Drake Maye. $277 quarterback pressures allowed in 2023. Man, they could use a Joe Alt here too, but it's going to be a quarterback. All right, let's see. Pick is in. Commissioner is about to walk on stage. Again, I think it's Jayden Daniels, but I think Commissioner's walking on stage. I think it will be Jayden Daniels. I like Jayden Daniels, man. He's a good player. It's just, I don't know. I don't think he's worthy of the number 2 overall pick, to be honest with you. All right, here's the commish. Let's see. Pick number 2 for the Washington Commanders. This is going to be the quarterback that's going to lead them for hopefully the next 15 years for this franchise. They need a quarterback. They have a decent roster. All right, Jayden Daniels. Quarterback LSU. There was some speculation, I think, from some reporters that he didn't want to go to Washington, but I mean, he's a Washington Commander now, so if you're Washington, you're getting a versatile quarterback guy who can run, he can pass, got a very strong arm, a very accurate arm, especially on deep throws. Needs to work on his intermediate and short route, accuracy issues. But I mean, dude, he's a really good prospect. Again, I would have personally taken Drake Maye here, but you're getting a good quarterback if you're Washington. This is a good pick for them. This is going to be their quarterback for the next 10, 15 years. Hopefully the injury bug doesn't hit him, but I mean, we're talking about a guy who was a 5th or 6th year senior. I mean, there's a meme of him going around right now that this is the same guy who was throwing touchdowns to Brandon Ayuk against Justin Herbert. From Arizona State to Oregon versus Oregon. I mean, we're talking pre-COVID. This guy was still in college football. So this is an older quarterback, man. I don't know. I'm not really a massive fan of this pick. I mean, I get it. He had a fantastic year last year. Obviously won the Heisman. I just would have taken Drake Maye, man. I just would have taken Drake. Caleb Williams, A+ pick. Jayden Daniels, I give it like a B- right now. I just think that, Drake Maye has a lot of upside. I don't really know about the upside of a Jayden Daniels, especially, with some of his kinks and some of his, his older age, slender frame. I don't know. He looks excited though. Good for him. All right, so now we have the New England Patriots on the clock. A lot Lots of rumors about them potentially trading the pick, but it does look like they're going to be sticking in here and probably taking Drake May or Marvin Harrison. Probably Drake May. Unless there's a last minute trade here, which would be more than likely to the Minnesota Vikings would be my guess, but we'll see. If you're, Jaden Daniels now enters a situation where he's got Terry McLaurin, some improvements along the offensive line with guys like Tyler Biadasz, a defense that brought in 2 new pass rushers, already has some good interior defensive linemen, needs to work on the secondary. But, listen, I mean, this is not a Washington team that's that far away from being a really good team. Um, they have multiple second round picks to add even more prospects. I mean, yeah, you lost a couple pieces, but damn, this is gonna be a good Washington team. Again, I don't love the Jaden Daniels pick. I would have taken Drake, but dude, it's a lot of upside here, man. A lot of upside for what this roster can be, especially if they play their cards correctly. Very, very interesting. Back to back Heisman winners. Okay, Patriots do keep the pick here, and I think it's gonna be Drake May here. Uh, I don't know. If I'm Drake May, man, this is a really, really, really bad situation to be in. Yep, will be Drake May more than likely. I mean, he's probably gonna sit his rookie year, or at least for most of his rookie year. So the Giants were trying to trade up. So the Giants might be in the JJ McCarthy camp, to be honest with you. I don't know. I think this is the right pick, to be honest with you. I think it is the right pick. I know they need receivers, and Marvin Harrison Jr. is a fantastic prospect, but when you have the 3rd overall pick, you get a chance to take a top tier quarterback like Drake May. By the way, my nose is super itchy. I don't know why. But if you are able to get a guy like a Drake May, I think you do it. So I don't blame the Patriots, but that is a roster that needs a lot of work. I mean, those receivers are god awful. I wonder if New England might be in the business of trying to trade up in the back end of the 1st round to get an Adonai Mitchell, a Ladd McConkey, Brian Thomas. Or they can just sit there and pick in the 2nd round like a Keon Coleman, which would be a good pick. All right, commissioners on the stage now. This is going to be Drake May. Might be Marvin Harrison, but I'd put money on Drake May here. All right. This is a very good pick for the Patriots, man. They get a quarterback to compete in a division with guys like Tua and Josh Allen. I mean, not to mention Aaron Rodgers. So this is a good pick for the Patriots here, man. I mean, high upside quarterback that needs to improve his footwork, some accuracy inconsistencies, but it definitely took a step back last year from his 1st year starting, but still, I mean, he didn't have anything going for him last year personnel wise. I hope he doesn't start next year. I'll be honest with you. I really hope he doesn't. I really hope he does not, because that is not a good team around Drake May. That being said, good player. He was my 2nd ranked quarterback of this year's draft. So, and this does feel like a Patriots guy. Like, he looks. I mean, I know the stereotype about white quarterbacks, but he looks like a Patriot. Let's be honest. Now they got to get him a receiver in the 2nd round or the back end of the 1st or something along those lines. They got to get him some help. Size, athleticism, anticipation, passer. They compare him to Jordan Love. I honestly don't hate that comparison. I really don't. I would say his upside is. I mean, Jordan Love has some good upside too. Let's be honest, but I don't know. That's a good comparison. You know, shoot, and Jordan Love is a damn good quarterback last year. I mean, he was really impressive at the back end of that season. All right, now we have the Cardinals on the clock. This is again, we all know the pick here. Unless it gets traded, it's going to be Marvin Harrison here. So, first four picks, not a whole lot of action. I kind of expected this to be the case, but very good pick for Gerard Mayo, a rookie head coach, gets his rookie quarterback of the future. Makes a lot of sense, to be honest with you. They're talking about him being similar to Josh Allen. Makes some sense. I mean, for play on the field wise, you're talking about a Herbert, Josh Allen like player, but it's got a long way to go before he's at that level. I do wonder how they're going to try to surround him with talent because this team needs a lot of help. I really, really hope that he doesn't start next year. Maybe a couple games late in the season, but man, definitely don't start him week one. Let the guy sit for a couple games, learn behind Jacoby Brissett, build the roster around him. I mean, unless, your second round pick really turns out to be a fantastic player, then bring him in. But man, I think we're going to go to commercial break. Oh, no, we're not. Drake May interview. I really have no clue what the Chargers do. I think the Chargers are going to go either Rome Odunze or Joe Alt or JC Latham. I could see Latham being the pick there. Or trade back. That's what I would do. I think I don't know how many mock drafts I did with them trading back, but in some of my mock drafts I had them trading back with Minnesota to get I think the 11th pick and like the 20 something pick, I think the 23rd or something. You're going to get two very talented players. That's what I would personally do. But if you want to sit here and take a Joe Alt or take a or Rome Odunze or take him a Neighbors, I think you do it. Quarterbacks taken in pick 1, 2, and 3. No big surprises here. Cardinals pick is in, so they're going to sit and pick here. It's going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. I made a video on them recently as well. They need to give some talent around Kyler Murray. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a fantastic player to add alongside Kyler Murray and some of the other options they have in that receiving core, like a Dortch, Trey McBride, and so on and so forth. They need to fix their offensive line though as well, and some secondary and some defensive line problems. But starting off with Marvin Harrison Jr., can't go wrong there. I would give the Drake May pick a A minus, just because I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is the better prospect. And I think he's a better player, just in general, regardless of position. I think he's a really good player. But okay, oh, getting cut off here. Pick is in. I think it's gonna be Marvin Harrison Jr. here. They didn't trade back, so no trades thus far. All right. Everything's going to plan right now. Marvin Harrison Jr. is the fourth overall pick to the Arizona Cardinals. Listen, getting the best, I have him as my number one overall prospect in this year's draft. So, you can't go wrong. This is a fantastic pick. Giving Kyler Murray another weapon to work with. I know the offensive line needs some work. I know the defense needs some work. But let's be honest, Marvin Harrison in that Cardinals uniform is a great fit. Now we got the Chargers, man. What goes here, man? What goes here? I think the draft starts now. I think this is really where we start to see some fireworks. Everything up to this point hasn't been very shocking. Are you sure this isn't a mock draft? It seems like it's like, I feel like 90% of people's mock drafts had this exact start. I did get the Drake May and Jaden Daniels one a little bit flipped a couple times, but yeah. No disrespect, but Marvin Harrison is kind of an ugly dude. No disrespect. The dude would probably beat me up in a fight. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to get beat up, but I mean, listen, dude, Marvin Harrison Jr. is one of the best receiving prospects we've seen in quite some time. Again, my number one overall prospect in this year's draft. Cardinals are getting a fantastic player. Dude can do it all. Just watch the tape. I mean, he's fantastic. I mean, Kyler Murray's got to be thrilled. But again, the draft starts now. What do the Chargers do at pick number 5? I think this is the only pick that I have really no clue what they're going to do. Could be a Dunze, could be Joe Alt, could be Latham, could be Neighbors. They need receiving help. They could even trade the pick. That's what I would do. The pick is still not in, so we're still waiting. I mean, man, Minnesota, man, you got to make a move. If the Chargers stick and pick here, I think the Giants might take JJ McCarthy because they've been making calls reportedly for Drake May and Jaden Daniels, but they didn't get any luck. So if you're New York, do you stick with Daniel Jones for a year and just get him a receiver to work with, or do you go with JJ McCarthy at pick number 6? And if that's the case, man, Minnesota would be in a tough spot. I am very intrigued to see what happens here. Minnesota, you're on the clock. Come on, make a move. Marvin Harrison Jr., big, fluid route runner, catch radius. Yeah, I mean, good route runner as well. Man, if the Chargers take the pick here, man, what do you do if you're Minnesota? Hmm. Damn, what a route there. If Minnesota strikes out here, man, they might be stuck with Bo Nix or Penix. 4 minutes still on the clock. Pick is still not in, so you got to imagine they're taking some calls right now. No, they're going to go into break. Ah. They take the break on the worst possible pick. Dude, we all knew the first 4 picks, man. Why are you taking a break now? This is where the draft gets interesting. 3 minutes left on the clock for the LA Chargers here. Also, what's the what's the score of the basketball game? Damn! Oh my goodness, the Magic are smoking the Cavaliers. 92-58. What the heck? Paolo Banchero with 29. Okay. And then Knicks, Sixers are tied up. All right. Interesting. Shout out to the Orlando Magic. 2 minutes and 55 seconds left. Brock Purdy taking the Toyota commercials. Good for him. Dude's making less than $1 million a year on his contract, and he's a top 15, top 10 quarterback. Smart man. Get that money from Toyota. What a stupid commercial. All right, 2 minutes, 20 seconds, man. You got to imagine they're talking to Minnesota right now. I mean, if you're Minnesota, you got 2 first-round picks. You can give them a second. You can give them a third. Throw the whole breadbasket here. LA's probably making the smart move to procrastinate this trade as long as possible to get as much compensation in return. But it could end up screwing the pick as well if they can't get the trade done. I mean, you got to imagine if they do make the trade, it's going to be JJ. But if they don't make the trade, dude, could you imagine if JJ McCarthy's the 5th overall pick to the Chargers and they actually do trade Justin Herbert? I would be in pain. But I'm not a Chargers fan, so actually I'd be pretty happy. Come on, get back from the commercial break, dude. I don't want to hear this Jim Beam commercial. No offense. Oh, they took away the screen too, so we don't know what happened with the pick. Dude, I'm stressed out. I'm not even a Chargers fan. Dude, you got Minnesota, you got New York. Who will take JJ? The pick is in. Wow, whoa. All right, Minnesota did not trade up here with the LA Chargers. The next team that could be a trade up situation is going to be, Atlanta, Chicago. I don't see Tennessee trading down here, man. With the way the board's fallen, they're going to just stick and take Joe Alt. I think the Chargers are going to take either Latham or Rome Odunze here. Wow. No trade here. What is going on with Minnesota, man? What is going on? Pick is in. I'm really curious to see who they take here. Man, could you imagine Brock Bowers was the pick here? That'd actually be a good ass pick, not even gonna lie. Might be a little early for him at pick 5, but I mean, kind of solves 2 issues of needing a weapon and needing a physical presence, but he's not much of a run blocker. All right, pick is here. Chargers selection is in. Who do we think it is? I'm gonna say it's Rome Odunze. That's my pick. Joe Alt. Whoa, 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 whoa. Tennessee, what are you going to do now? Okay. Question becomes who's moving to right tackle now? Are they going to put Joe Alt at right tackle or are they going to move Rashawn Slater to tackle? I mean, this is a very LA Chargers Jim Harbaugh move. This is a good pick, but damn, bro, what are they going to do with Herbert, dude? They got to give him a weapon. I mean, he's throwing a Quentin Johnston right now. Man, this is crazy. Joe Alt, pick number 5. That was not in the books for me. I thought it would not be Joe Alt. Very interesting. He doesn't look very happy. Why is this so awkward? What the fuck? Man, bro gotta pay state taxes now. This, I don't know. That war room doesn't look too happy right now. I mean, they're clapping, but they don't all look happy. I would have went with Roma Dunze, man. I would have went with the Dunze. I still like the pick though, man. Putting Rashawn Slater with Zion Johnson and some of the other guys. I think you're probably gonna put Joe Alt at right tackle, which could potentially raise some concerns, some problems. But man, I'm gonna give it a. I'll give it a B plus. Giants on the clock. I think this might be where JJ McCarthy goes. And brother, that's gonna put Minnesota in a world of issues if that happens. So the LA Chargers are starting to build from the trenches first. Makes sense. Jim Harbaugh, somebody who wants to build the trenches, run the football. They're probably going to take a running back in, round 2 or 3. I don't know, man. I would have traded down with Minnesota, man. I know Joe Watt is a fantastic player, but dude, you could have taken a Talisi Fuaga or something along those lines. Wow. If this is JJ McCarthy, I would not like that pick for the Giants. I'm just being completely honest with you. I would not like that pick at all for the Giants. And I like JJ McCarthy. I really do. But JJ McCarthy on this current roster, I I don't want the Giants to take JJ McCarthy here. That would be maybe the worst situation for him to go to, man. Oh, I really hope this is not JJ McCarthy because, dude, I think he's a good player, but man, that team, that offensive line, those weapons. I mean, who's their starting running back next year? Like, I actually don't know. I would really hope this is Malik Neighbors or Roma Dunze. So they're saying Daniel Jones might not return in the beginning of the season. That's crazy. But you brought in Drew Lock. Okay. Commissioner's coming up. I think it's going to be Roma Dunze. I really do not want this to be JJ McCarthy. Take Roma Dunze, build the team around your starting quarterback. You can get a quarterback next year or beyond. Do not take JJ McCarthy here. Okay. Malik Neighbors is the pick for the New York Giants. Kind of not surprised here about taking Malik over Roma Dunze. I think the fit is a lot better. Ooh, okay. So does Minnesota just stick there and take JJ at their pick, which they easily could? Or do they try to trade up for JJ? Like, what's going to go on there, man? Whew, my heart about skipped a beat. I thought it was going to be JJ McCarthy. Good pick here for the New York Giants. Um, Offensive line still sucks. I mean, you got some new pieces here and there, but still, it's not a very good line. Receiving course got better now. Malik Neighbors is going to bring some dynamic abilities. Darren Waller comes back. Who is? Let me look up the Giants running back. I should probably know this on hand. Giant starting running back is Devin Singletary. So I don't like that one that much. This is a very interesting Giants team. I don't know. I'll give this pick an A minus though. I do like the pick. This was the right pick to make. Get your get Daniel Jones or Drew Lock a starting quarterback to work with. I'm very happy it's not JJ McCarthy. But now we have Tennessee on the clock here. I don't know who this might be. If I had to guess, I'll go with JC Latham or I'll go with Talisi Fuaga. Well, they could take a receiver, even though they already have Ridley and Hopkins. But Rome Odunze is still on the board here. Malik Neighbors to the New York Giants. I like that pick, man. I really like that pick. That's the right move. You can't get Drake. If you can't get Jaden, which I think was pretty unrealistic, go get you a guy who can be a legitimate weapon for Daniel Jones or Drew Lock or whoever starts next year. Dude is a really, really good athlete. Really good with the ball in his hands. I'm interested to see what Tennessee does here, man. That was such an awkward interview. I would say thus far it's been a pretty straightforward draft. I don't think there's really been anything too crazy that's happened thus far. Craziest pick to me was Joe Alt going to the Chargers, which was interesting, and then the whole JJ McCarthy thing is still going on, but not really surprised by anything quite yet. I think everything is going about according to plan thus far. Tennessee is probably going to be taking an offensive lineman. I wouldn't be shocked if they decided to go somewhere on the defense because of Joe Alt not being on the board, but Fuaga, for however you say his name, great player. Troy Fatanu, some of those offensive linemen are still very good. And we're on commercial. We are in commercial. We are also 1 hour into the stream. I appreciate every one of you guys who are watching, whether it's watching live or watching a replay version. I appreciate you guys. We are at 2,000 subscribers. We're consistently growing. Have a lot of content planned for the off season. Have even more content planned for when the season starts. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the journey we're going on in this YouTube channel. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm really excited to see what type of growth we can have heading into next year. And this is a part of the journey of me growing as a creator for creating content and doing better. And eventually I want to start doing consistent live streams, but it's kind of been a boring off season thus far. And I think, dude, honestly, it's gonna get really boring after a couple months. We have the Tennessee Titans on the clock. I think it's going to be, I don't know, man. Talisi Fuaga would be my bet here. if I had to guess. We are 1 hour in and we've only been through 6 picks. So at this rate, we're looking at like a 5 hour a 5 hour draft. Hopefully they start to pick up these picks, man. I don't know how some of these live streamers do like these 24-hour streams. Like, dude, it's ridiculous. No shot. Let's see what they do to have some help around Will Levis. Will it be offensive tackle? I think it will be. Could it be Roma Dunze? That'd be fun. You know, DeAndre Hopkins is getting older. You put D Hop with Calvin Ridley for the next couple of years, I wouldn't mind that at all. But they need a left tackle, man. They need a tackle. Give them somebody next to Peter Skoronski. Give them something to add next to Peter Skoronski. I'm a big Talisi Fuaga guy. If you want to run the ball more effectively, you're going to get Fuanga, and he's going to be every bit of a bowling ball that you need at that left tackle position or right tackle, depending on what you want to do with him. Or you could go JC Latham. I didn't even think about Latham. He could be the pick here as well. Just do not have a repeat of Isaiah Wilson. Just do not get that type of guy. Could be an Olu Fashanu here as well. That would be a good pick, you know, if you want more of a traditional left tackle. High upside pass protector. That would make some sense. I'm going to go, my guess is going to be Fuanga. That's my guess. Let's see. Falcons are now on the clock. We'll see what they do here. I think the Falcons they could go Roma Dunze, honestly. All right, Titans take JC Latham. Very good pick. I like that pick a good amount. I still think Fuanga's the guy who I would have taken, but man, probably going to move him to your left tackle. I think, well, I guess he did play left tackle at Bama, so you're going to stick him there at left tackle, put him next to Peter Skoronski. It's going to be a nasty combination on that left side of the offensive line, man. Now we have Atlanta Falcons on the clock. I mean, what you're getting in JC Latham is a big body mover. A lot of upside, a lot of potential to be a very good lockdown left tackle or right tackle, depending on where you want to put him. I even think that, you know, if he doesn't work out at tackle, you can even move him to guard if you want to. He's a mover, man. He's a mover. I think the hope is, though, is that you don't have an Evan Neal 2.0, man. This dude just winked. What a cornball. JC Latham, man, making his money. He was somebody who... Oh, dude, I hope he's okay. Dude, the commissioner just had back surgery, and JC Latham just picked him up. I really hope that the commissioner's okay, man. JC Latham, the pick for the Tennessee Titans, man. Good pick there. I'll give that one B plus. Go B plus. I'm gonna go B plus because you didn't get Joe Walt. Not really their fault, but still didn't get Joe Walt, man. That's who I would have wanted for him, but still B plus pick for them. I felt bad for Titans fans, man. Like every mock draft that I did and every mock draft that I watched, it was JC Latham, Joe Walt, or Talisi Fuaga, and that was it. And kind of how it ended up being. So, I mean, we weren't wrong. Yeah, he played right tackle at Bama and left tackle. So, you're going to get somebody who can play both sides of the ball. Like I said, I think you can even move him at guard if you really want him to. Oh, was that play at guard? I think you just put. Oh, no, maybe not. Good for him, man. Because the difference in pay wise from being the 8th overall pick or being the 20th overall pick, that's a pretty big difference. So, shout out J.C. Latham, man. It's a good fit for him. No trades, man. No trades thus far. J.C. Latham, the Trench King. They have him ranked as an 87 overall. That's pretty fair. He wasn't in my top 10. I don't believe he was. He was borderline in my top 10. I consider moving him in there, but I like Fuanga just a tad bit more. But him and Peter Skoronski on that left side is going to be a nasty competition or combination. Now Atlanta's on the clock here. What do the Atlanta Falcons do? Shut up. They just said Michael Penix is in the mix for the Atlanta Falcons at pick number 8. That would be. I don't think that'll be the pick here. I think it's going to be a defensive player. That would not be a good pick, man. I would really not like that pick. I like Penix. He's my 4th ranked quarterback. And I think in some situations, but dude, you have a chance to get a top wide receiver like a Dunze. You're a top edge rusher, your top interior pass rusher. I don't think it's going to be Penix. If you wanted Penix, you could have traded back. I thought they were going to say maybe JJ McCarthy. Like, that would make some sense because you want to put a developmental guy behind Kirk Cousins, but Penix is an older guy. All right, Falcon selection is here. I would be shocked if it's Penix, but man, let's see. Whoa! Whoa! Wow! Let me say this. Michael Penix going to the Atlanta Falcons is fantastic for Penix, but we're talking about an older quarterback going to a team that just signed Kirk Cousins for a 4-year deal. That doesn't make much sense at all for Atlanta. I do not like I listen, I love Michael Penix Jr., but he's not going to start for this team for at least 2-3 years. Dude, you had a chance to get Jared Verse, Dallas Turner, Latu. Listen, I love Michael Penix Jr. My 4th ranked quarterback, I have him higher than JJ McCarthy, but this is not the right pick. Not this early at pick number 8. Wow. That is a bombshell. I do not like that pick. Listen, I love the player. I had him ranked a lot higher than a lot of other people, but I was not this early, especially on the Falcons when you just signed Kirk Cousins on a 4-year deal. Wow, wow, wow. I mean, dude, I don't know about this pick, man. I just don't know about this pick. Listen, great player, but dude, you had your choice of any defensive player. Oh, my sister's calling me. I'll tell her I'll call her. Man, I don't know. Just do not know about that. Like again, I feel like I'm a broken record. I'm listen. I like the player, but dude, you had bigger needs than a predecessor quarterback. You could have taken a quarterback last year or next year or hell 2 years down the line. Dude, you're talking about an older. I don't know about that. Listen, your team's still good, Ricky. You're still gonna be a good team next year, but like, listen, I like Penix, but dude, that just does not make any sense to me. You had a chance to take the best defensive player on this draft, whoever you wanted, Rome Odunze, and man, taking Penix, who might not be your starting quarterback till 4 years down the line potentially. I mean, dude, he's 23 or 24. That is, I don't know, man. I just do not know. Listen, for Penix, this is a good spot for him to learn and develop behind Kirk Cousins. I don't know. I don't know. JJ McCarthy's still on the board here. I think Minnesota is just going to be able to take him at their spot unless Denver jumps him. That could be interesting. Bears pick is in. Wow. Our Bears are on the clock, or sorry, Bears are about to make their pick. Wow, what a bombshell from Atlanta. That is definitely going to be something we talk about probably tomorrow's video. I ain't gonna lie. Nice. Ooh. Damn. Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, Roshan Johnson, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet. Damn. Wow. That is crazy. Fireworks. A plus pick. Listen, I was gonna suggest potentially getting a pass rusher next to Montez Sweat. Maybe you go out and get a Byron Murphy. Maybe you go out and get a Jared Verse, Dallas Turner. But man, Roma Dunze in that receiving core is going to be nasty. Wow, that offense is going to be scary good if Caleb Williams is legit. Tough. That's tough, man. Man, I can't get over that Falcons pick though, dude. Okay, Minnesota just traded up with the Jets. This is probably going to be for JJ McCarthy. They just moved up one spot. Okay, I wonder what the compensation is. Minnesota just traded up to likely take JJ McCarthy. This honestly kind of worked out perfectly for the Minnesota Vikings, to be honest with you. Yeah, they traded up one. This dude Ricky is going through it right now. He said, "I'm a Lions fan." I like the pick for Atlanta in some ways, but man, I don't know, dude. Back-to-back Washington players, by the way. I guess I will say this: if Kirk Cousins does go down, I mean, the dude did have an Achilles injury last year. You're going to have a young guy in Penix who's going to step in and play. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I would have rather them taken Roma Dunze there, to be honest with you. Just go all in. Screw it. Why not? Okay. 10th overall pick and a 6th round pick is what the Vikings are getting. The Jets are getting 11th, a 4th, and a 5th. So honestly, Vikings probably did a very good job of navigating this year's draft. Wow. So we're assuming JJ McCarthy's the pick here. If you're the Vikings, you still didn't get like May or Daniels, but you still got one of the guys you wanted, and you didn't have to trade your second first round pick. So they're going to be able to take a second first round pick and add another piece to this team. Woo. Wow. Fireworks. Start off slow. Picking up, man. It's picking up. That Michael Penix pick came out of nowhere. Dude, that Bears team, man. It's gonna be nasty. Yeah, that Falcons. I'm shocked too because you got Raheem Morris, who's a defensive minded coach. I will say this, Ricky, like there are some really good defensive linemen in the second round who you can take, like potentially a Chop Robinson, a Darius Robinson, I don't remember his name. The dude from Bama's pretty solid, but whew, I don't know, man. This is going to be the first 10 picks, and not a single defensive player has come off the board, assuming that the Vikings take JJ McCarthy. And I don't think it's going to be a defensive player until maybe Raiders, maybe. Okay, let's think about like why they took Penix. You know, they want to get their guy of the future. Kirk Cousins is only going to be there for the next couple years. By the time Kirk is in his fourth year of his contract, he's going to be older, probably not the starter anymore. Um, I believe they have a 3 year out, so I think after the third year they could potentially get out of the Kirk Cousins contract. I still think that's super early to take Penix. Like again, Penix was my fourth ranked quarterback, but man, I would have just if I could have, I mean, why not try and trade back? But I don't know. Minnesota's doing a good job though. I mean, Minnesota keeps their second first round pick, and they're going to be able to get the guy they wanted. Can't really ask for a whole lot more if you're Minnesota. And the truth is, if you're Minnesota, maybe you trade out of your second first round pick, trade back to potentially get even some more draft capital. That could be an option for them as well. I don't think that's what's going. I don't think that's what they're going to do, but it's an option. That is crazy. I feel like most of the picks thus far have been pretty, standard. The Rome Odunze one took me for a ride there, not gonna lie. Michael Penix's crazy. The Joe Alt pick to the LA Chargers kind of caught me by surprise as well. Um, Now let's think about it this way: if you're the Vikings, you get JJ McCarthy. I think that's the worst quarterback in the division still. Even if he hits his upside, I think his upside is like Alex Smith, and I just don't know if that's gonna get the job done in that division where you have Caleb Williams, Jared Goff, and Jordan Love. I don't know if it's gonna get the job done, man. I really wonder if Denver was going to take the quarterback, and that's why they decided to trade up. Or I'm sorry, Denver was going to try to trade up with the Jets to get JJ, and that's why they decided to make the one trade up. Or maybe it was just like we want to guarantee we get our guy, no chances taken. Damn, man, that's sad. All right, think JJ's gonna be the pick here. JJ McCarthy. This is a good spot for McCarthy to go to, man. Probably the best spot for him to go to, man. You get Justin Jefferson, you get all the pieces around him, Jordan Addison, solid offensive line. It's a good fit for him, man. This is honestly like the best spot for him to go to. The Giants wasn't the spot for him. Patriots weren't the spot for him. Washington Commanders weren't the spot for him. Minnesota Vikings is the best spot for him to go to. And if you're Minnesota, you didn't have to trade back to get him or trade forward to get him at that. This is probably best case scenario for the Minnesota Vikings. Listen, JJ McCarthy is my fifth ranked quarterback, but in this situation, he's actually the fifth quarterback off the board, so it kind of did work out in that sense. Good accuracy. Maybe not the greatest arm, but it gets the job done. Going to be interesting to see what he can do in Kevin O'Connell's system, man. But again, I will say this: I still think that he's the fourth best quarterback in that division, even at his peak. So they're going to have to build a very good roster around him. Jets are now officially on the clock. I think they're going to take. I'm going to go with Fuaga here. Unless they want to go and reach for a Brian Thomas or an Xavier Worthy or an Adonai Mitchell, you're probably going to take the best tackle on the board. And there's still some really good tackles like Olu Fashanu on the board or Fuanga or Troy Fatanu, one of those guys. That's a terrible comparison. They just compared CJ Stroud to JJ McCarthy. I don't know about that one, my friend. I do not know about that one. That was a Michigan offense that was predicated on the run, whereas Ohio State's was predicated on the pass. The only good comparison between him and CJ Stroud is the fact that they both were on really good teams. I don't know about that one. Jets pick is in. Again, I think it's going to be an offensive tackle, although I would not be surprised if they decided to go with a pass rusher because there's a lot of guys on the board here. And if they want to try to go basically all in on next year, you could go pass rusher, but I think they're probably, well, I shouldn't say they just got Hassan Reddick. I should remember that. I think it's probably going to be an offensive tackle because you do have two older injury prone tackles. But 5 quarterbacks taken in the first 10 picks. I don't know if that's a record, but man, it feels like it. Teams got their guys, man. Bo Nix is the last first round quarterback on the board. I don't know if he goes here. I mean, Denver's up at 12 next. Raiders at 13 could go quarterback. Seattle with, I think, pick 15 or 16. Those are his next options, but I think he might fall into that second round because I just don't see any of those teams getting them unless it's later in the first round. I think I'm delayed on my thing. I just got a notification about the pick, but I didn't see who it was. I might refresh after this. Jets are now coming onto the stage here. I'm gonna guess it's Wonga. I think it's gonna be a tackle. Or I'm gonna go Troy Patanu here. Okay, Olufashanu. That's a good pick. Oh wow, look at his family. They look hyped. That's he's and this is a good spot for him too because he can develop behind a Tyron Smith or Morgan Moses for a year or even probably just a year, honestly. It's a good spot for him, man. This is a very, very, very good spot for him to go to the Jets. Jets get a young, developing player. Good pick there, man. Good pick. I mean, Tyron Smith has a lot of injury concerns. Jets get a new backup tackle for a year, or swing tackle for their first year while he develops. Needs to work on consistency with his pass blocking. But man, this is a good situation for him, dude. Denver's on the clock, and they're actually going to take the pick. So the rumors of the Eagles trying to trade up with Denver turn out to be false. Does Denver go with their guy in Bo Nix? Maybe. Do they go best player available? I mean, dude, not a single defensive player has been taken thus far, and there's a lot of really good defensive players. I'm going to guess the Broncos take the first defensive player in the draft. The Jet. Oh, I didn't think about it. Brock Bowers is still on the board here, man. Nah, Denver. No, they wouldn't take a tight end here. Now, so the question becomes, where does Brock Bowers go now? Does Brock Bowers fall to the Colts? Maybe that could be a good pick. Dude, if it ain't snowing, it ain't glowing. Does Bo Nix go next? It does not look like he got the phone call from that view. Now, granted, it could have been, a few minutes ago. What do the Denver Broncos do here at pick number 12? Again, I think it'll be probably will be the first defensive player off the board. I think it's going to be, I'm going to go with Byron Murphy. That's my guess here. Or Johnny Newton. That either one of those guys. But I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to say Byron Murphy will be the first defensive player off the board here to the Denver Broncos. would be a good fit for him, to be honest with you. The Magic beat the Cavs 121 to 83. 38-point win. That's or yeah, 38-point win. That's crazy. And the Knicks are down 5 in the third quarter. Interesting. I think Denver's going to take the first defensive player on the board here after we get this commercial. Now, if they were to go with a Bo Nix, I mean, listen, it's a roster that needs a lot of work, but man, he's still on the board here. But I could see a world where he ends up falling out of the first round. And if I don't know, I'm not as high on Bo Nix as I am on a lot of these other prospects, but if Michael Penix goes pick number 8, I mean, shoot, maybe all the quarterbacks rise up the boards a little bit here, Yeah, Detroit's at pick 29. We got a while to go. We are an hour 30 in. We are 11 picks in. So they are picking it up a little bit. They're starting to get the picks in a little bit faster. But it's like whenever you have these commercials, it adds like 5 minutes to your time. Ugh. I bet you places like pizza places, Wingstop, I bet you they're slammed today. I cannot imagine how busy they are. Oh, dude, I am behind. I keep getting notifications from one of my apps about the picks, but I can't see who they're actually talking about, so I don't know what the pick is. But damn, I'm behind. Oh well. I think it's gonna be a defensive player. I kind of hope it's Byron Murphy, man. I think that'd be a good fit for them. Pass rusher, run stuffer, kind of an all-in-one interior defensive lineman. Okay, the commissioner is walking on stage now for the Denver Broncos pick. My guess is going to be Byron Murphy out of Texas. Don't think it's going to be Bo Nix here. I think they're going to rock with Jarrett Stidham. I would be a little surprised if it's Bo Nix here. I think it's going to be the first defensive player off the board. Let's see who it is. Woo! Wow. Bo Nix is officially a Denver Broncos. And I switched from the NFL Network to ESPN. I'm going to go back to NFL Network. Wow. Okay. 6 out of the first 12 picks are quarterbacks. And Las Vegas is not going to be able to get a quarterback. Well, I was wrong. I thought that one of Bo Nix or Michael Penix would be on the board here, but nope. Very, very, very interesting. Actually, I'm going to go back to ESPN. They're a little bit further ahead. I mean, you're getting Bo Nix, a proven productive player who at Auburn was making a lot of creative plays behind a terrible offensive line. The dude is shown his capabilities. I mean, I know a lot of the Oregon stuff was behind the line of scrimmage, a lot of easy reads for him to go through, but I think he refined a lot of his technique problems he had in Auburn, and I think that this is a good player, but I don't think he's going to be a starter per se. I think he'll sit behind Jarrett Stidham, but um, this is a Denver Broncos team that still has a lot of work to do, kind of like the New England Patriots. So I really hope he doesn't start next year. Kind of similar in line to Drake May, because they have a lot of work to do. But because they don't even have I think a second round pick from what I know of. So this will be interesting here. This is going to be interesting. Raiders on the clock. This is Byron Murphy. Byron Murphy will be picked at pick 13. Will Spencer Rattler make it into the first round? Could you imagine? Could you imagine? $60 starts is insane, dude. The Broncos are getting an experienced guy, an older player who could start right away. I don't think he will start right away. I think it's going to be Jarrett Stidham. But they're getting a guy who has refined his technique in a lot of ways. I think as he went from the Auburn program, which was just a horrible spot for him to be in, to going to a more NFL-like team at the Oregon Ducks, it made a lot of strides last year. I mean, I didn't even think Bo Nix would be a lottery pick when he was first um, playing for Auburn, but after the year he had in Oregon, it's a good pick. I need to go back. I think I didn't rank the past couple. JJ McCarthy, I'll give it a B plus. Bo Nix, I'll give it probably a B plus as well. I can't remember who was Olu Fashanu. I'll give it an A plus. I like that pick a lot. Man, Michael Penix Jr. at pick number 8 is crazy. It's funny because the order of the draft picks, minus you flip Drake May and Jaden Daniels, is exactly how I would have ranked the quarterbacks. I had Caleb, Drake, Jaden, Penix, JJ, and Bo Nix. So that I guess it kind of worked out in its own little weird way. I will say I don't think Penix, Bo Nix, or JJ McCarthy are worthy of being top 12 picks. There's a lot of good players on the board here. We're 13 or 12 picks in and not a single defensive player. All right, here goes the Raiders here. They're probably going to take a defensive player. Or they're going to take a corner. Terran Arnold. Let's see. Oh! What? The Raiders just took Brock Bowers. I don't know about that pick at all, dude. They just took Michael Mayer last year. Um, I don't know. Like, dude, he's a freaky good player, really good talent, but man, you need corners, man. They didn't do a whole lot to fix the secondary. Dude, Michael Mayer is a good player, man. You took him last year in the second round, one of the top picks in the second round, and I mean, I know Brock can play as like a receiver or two, but you know, you're gonna line him up as a tight end. I don't know about that pick, man. The beginning of the draft was very like predictable, but man, this past couple picks have been really bizarre. Um, C minus. Like, dude, the player is good, but man, Jacoby Myers, Devontae Adams, Michael Mayer didn't really need a weapon. Dude, you have all the offense, a lot of really good offensive tackles on the board. You could have taken the top defensive player in the draft. I don't know. His dad does not look happy, by the way. I think that's his dad on his right side. Wow. Okay. Um, I'm a Raiders fan, and I don't like the pick, so it is what it is. Wouldn't have been who I would have picked, to be honest with you. We still haven't seen a defensive player off the board, but man, I don't know. I will say I think all the quarterbacks were taken in good spots. Like I think Atlanta, like I think they were all taken early, but like the players themselves were are going to be put on a team that can develop them and make them good players. Like Atlanta getting Michael Penix Jr. to develop him for a year or two before being the starter, that's a good spot for Penix. Bo Nix going to Denver, a team that Sean Payton has. Um, Obviously, Zach Wilson won't be the starter next year, so I kind of question why they made the Zach Wilson trade a little bit, but regardless, they still made it. JJ McCarthy going to the Minnesota Vikings was a good value pick, so I don't know, man. I think the Saints are probably going to take an offensive tackle here. So I think that again we're looking at who would they pick? Maybe Troy Fatanu would be the pick here. Marius Mims could be the pick here because Fashanu's not on the board. Oh, you could go Talisi Fuaga, so maybe that'll be the pick. I think this will be an offensive tackle here, but man, what a bizarre draft thus far. Very offensive focused draft, and I don't think it's gonna slow down here much. If you're a team that needs defensive players, I think you're feeling really good. Like Philadelphia, man, they have to be feeling pretty solid right now. We've seen one trade thus far, so and I'm not necessarily surprised by that. I didn't really think there'd be as much trades as some of the rumors were, but I thought we'd have at least one by now. Again, not a bad thing per se. Saints are now down to 3 minutes on their timer, so makes you wonder what the conversation they're having is. They're maybe picking between different tackles because Lord knows they need some offensive tackle help. Oh, I gotta straighten my back out. Whew. Feel like all the fireworks have shouted out now, so I don't think we have as many fireworks to go through, but still, like, still a lot of pieces to fall on the board here. I don't think this will be a defensive player. I mean, they could use defensive players, like I don't know, maybe something in the secondary, but I don't know if it's a priority. I would say this is probably going to be. I'm gonna go Fuanga here as the pick. They have 2 minutes on the clock here, so they're still going through it right now. All right, pick is in, so they do not trade it. I think this is going to be Fuanga. 275,000 fans in attendance. A lot of them Lions fans. Wow. They set a record for the longest streak of any offensive player thing. I don't know how to word it. 13 straight offensive players. feel like we're gonna get a bit of a run here of some defensive players because there's a lot of really good players on the board here. All right, the commissioner is now about to walk on stage for the Saints pick. I think this will be offensive tackle Fuanga. He's a top 10 player on my big board. Really big, physical, run blocking oriented tackle that needs some improvements pass blocking wise, but man, he's a good ass player. You need to open up a lane for Alvin Kamara. This dude can do it, man. And the Colts are coming up next. I think the Colts will likely take a corner. So I think we'll get our first defensive player next after this pick. All right, here are the Saints. All right. They took Talisi Fuaga. Good pick. Very good pick. Can play on the inside, can play on the outside. The dude is a physical specimen. That's going to be a team that's going to be predicated on the run. A lot of Alvin Kamara next year. You're going to put Fuaga probably on that left side. I mean, this is a good spot for him to go to, man. Dude is a physical beast. Mauler in the run game. When he gets his hands on you, you're not moving. Now, granted, he needs to work on his footwork a little bit. But when he gets his hands on you, buddy, it's over for you. Man, they are going to run behind him play after play after play, and that's going to be really fun. They just showed a highlight of him absolutely plowing a dude. Question now becomes, is he going to play on the right side? Is he going to play on the left side of the O-line? That is going to be the interesting point. Ooh, man, that's a good pick, man. That's A minus pick. Again, top 10 player on my big board. You get him here at pick number 14, man. It's a good spot for him. Fourth Oregon State player selected in the first round since 1967. Wow. Sometimes you have teams like LSU and Bama and Georgia who have 4 in 1 year. Good for him, man. That is a very solid pick for the Saints. I mean, listen, the Saints have a lot of issues, but man, they got a guy. Oh, dude, ESPN has so many commercials. Indianapolis Colts are on the board here. I think this is where our first defensive player goes off the board here. I'm going to guess the first defensive player will be... I'm going to go with Quinyon Mitchell here to the Colts. I'm going to go with Quinyon Mitchell here going to the Indianapolis Colts. Colts need secondary help pretty badly. You got Juju Brents on one side. Kenny Moore is your slot guy. Go get you a Quinyon Mitchell to play on your other side, and that's going to be a nice secondary for this team. Yeah, apparently the NFL doesn't like defense anymore, so we're just going to keep drafting offense, guys. I will say, Indianapolis could take receiver here. They could take a Brian Thomas or an A.D. Mitchell or an Xavier Worthy, and that would honestly make a lot of sense. But man, they got to fix some things in that secondary. Okay, this is some interesting news here. Kirk Cousins was not given a heads up that the Atlanta Falcons would be taking Penix Jr. Interesting. I don't know why they wouldn't talk to him about it, but that's going to be an interesting dynamic between those two to see if Kirk is willing to develop him. I mean, I'm sure he is, but you would think that if you're going to sign a guy to a 4-year deal, you would tell them, hey, we're going to draft a Penix Jr. or a Bo Nix or whoever. Interesting. Dude, Dallas Turner's eating chips in the war room. Yeah, he ain't getting picked next. Go get you a cornerback, Indianapolis. There's Troy Fatanu. Fatanu needs to go to Seattle. That'd be a nice fit for him. I could not imagine putting myself in the situation of me being a draft pick and having these teams draft me, and like I'd be pissed, to be honest with you, if I was drafted to a team like Washington or Cleveland, because man, I don't want to live in Ohio. I don't want to live near Washington. I guess that'd be close to Virginia, but still, I'd want to be taken by any of the Texas teams, any of the Cali teams, any of the Florida teams. Patriots would be cool. I don't know. I don't think I'd want to play for Detroit. No offense. Chicago, probably not. I don't know. California, though, you gotta pay state taxes. So I don't know if you want to do that. All right, picks is in for the Indianapolis Colts. I think this is going to be the first corner, and I'm gonna guess Quinion Mitchell will be the pick here. And then you have Seattle on the clock after that, and I think they are going to take offensive tackle and Troy Fatanu. Now, granted, maybe they do decide just say screw it, go receiver here, and just add along to a receiving core that's already pretty solid with guys like Josh Downs and Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman. But you really need to fix the secondary more than that. Man, if you're a team that needs a defensive player, draft is going pretty damn good for you. Let's be honest. No team has made any trades thus far. I mean, well, besides the Vikings. So I guess I think the way the draft is falling, I just don't see any teams really wanting to trade up at this point. Like, if you're a team that needs a cornerback, why trade up? Because you can just probably sit there and take a Kool-Aid McKinstry or Terry and Arnold at this point because they're all falling. All right, commissioners walking up stage. I feel like I say that every single pick, but I have to. And they are going to be taking wow. Okay. They take Laiatu Latu to go to the Indianapolis Colts. Don't. mm, I don't want to say I don't like it because I think Laiatu Latu is a very good player, but that was a defensive line that wasn't really that bad. I mean, you already had Kwity Paye, Ebukam, DeForest Buckner. I mean, they needed secondary, but this is probably a situation where they went with the best player available on the defensive side of thing, and I guess this was their higher on him than they were on some other guys. I don't know. I would have went with a corner there. I like Latu Latu a lot. He's my edge rusher number 3. I'm gonna give this one a C plus. Very good pass rusher, but this is a team that needs corners. So I don't know why they went with the defensive lineman. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, is Quiddy Pay, a end all be all lineman? Not really. Is Samson Ebukam a top 10 defensive lineman? No. But Terry Arnold, Quinion Mitchell, Kool Aid McKinstry, Cooper DeJean, like, what are we doing? So if Seattle's on the board here, I'm gonna guess Troy Fatanu here. I don't know about that one, man. I don't know about that one. I just feel like that's a team that needs to fix their secondary more than their defensive line, man. Again, I like Latu a lot, but dude, that's a secondary that needs a lot of work, man. I would not have guessed that he would have been the first defensive player off the board. I'll say that. That's for sure. This is working out quite nicely for Jacksonville because they do need secondary help. All right. 14 straight offensive players. We have our first defensive player. I do think we're going to go back to the offense here for pick 16. I think they're going to take Troy Fatanu here, which would make a lot of sense because they need a versatile tackle, guard, somebody along those lines. You could put Troy Fatanu basically at any single position, and that would fix a lot of Seattle's problems. Question becomes like they don't really need tackles. I mean, yes, there's some concerns about Abraham Lucas, but I would say I'm more concerned about the guard position more than I am the tackle position for them. But you can move Fatanu at guard if you need him to. We are at the 16th pick. Give me like 25 30 seconds. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go use the bathroom. All right, I'm back. Seahawks pick is in, and they are about to be on stage for their pick. I would say thus far we've had an entertaining draft. I don't know if I'm zero sugar, by the way. I ain't taking no risks. Well, I think I am actually taking a risk by drinking that, but um. Oh, I gotta see this. Hold on. Is it on here? There's a video of the Atlanta Falcons GM explaining the pick to. That's interesting. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so Seahawks are on the clock. I think they're about to pick here. Probably will be a tackle. Maybe it could be a Dallas Turner. That'd be a nice pick, but I don't think that's what the pick's gonna be here. They need interior offensive line help more than anything, so it could be a JPJ, Jackson Powers Johnson, maybe a Graham Barton. Ugh. They're talking about Dallas Turner and his fall right now. I'm not really surprised. I felt like if it wasn't going to be Atlanta or Chicago, then it was likely that he was going to fall, given the needs of the teams that come after him. Now, granted, I didn't suspect that Indianapolis would take a pass rusher, but again, it doesn't really shock me. All right, Seahawks are doing a special presentation, so we'll see what they go for here. All right, they're doing some U.S. service player stuff. Service players, service men slash woman. South Korea. That's dope. All right, Seahawks are making their pick. Let's see who it is. I'm gonna guess Troy Fatanu. If it's not Troy Fatanu, maybe Johnny Newton, Byron Murphy. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, hook 'em. That's a good pick, man. That is a very good pick. Let's go. Very good pick. That's a stud up the middle, man. Good run stuffer. Oh, he's in Dallas. Maybe he's next door. He's close by to me. I live near Dallas. Good for him, man. This is a great spot for him to be in. A little bit of an undersized guy, but he's going to be able to sit alongside a guy like Leonard Williams. That draft day fit is not it, by the way, from him. I'm not feeling that fit he's wearing. But man, they get a nice pass rusher. Oh, trade alert. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Jaguars trade pick. to the Minnesota Vikings. What? Okay. Minnesota moves up, but who could it be for? Maybe a Dallas Turner? Or they might be going for a top corner, man. Interesting stuff here. Jacksonville trades back despite the fact they need corner and need receiver, but Minnesota's going to trade up here. And man, Minnesota has a chance to steal the draft here. Getting back to the Byron Murphy pick. Byron Murphy is strong at the point of attack, very physical, good run stepper for his size, extremely, extremely good pass rusher. I mean, you're talking about a very high upside interior defensive lineman. Could be one of the best players on that defense in a few years. That defense is coming together nicely for Seattle. You got two top corners. You got a couple nice pass rushers, could still use a little work. You now add a Byron Murphy to be that physical enforcer in the middle. I messed up my hand gestures. Let's freaking go. This is a big moment for Texas, by the way, as they're trying to flip their program around. This guy right here is a fantastic player. But let's now talk about the Minnesota Vikings pick here. What could the Vikings be cooking? I'm thinking it's Terrion Arnold here, man. Could be a Dallas Turner, but you already have Jonathan Grenard. Vikings trade up. I wonder what the compensation was. And the pick is in, so they turn this in quickly. I'm assuming this is a defensive player. I'm a little surprised that they would trade up because there's a lot of people who would still be available with their pick. And I thought if anything, they would maybe trade down. But okay, here we go. Nice. Woo! Dallas Turner to the Minnesota Vikings. Dude, the Vikings have won the first round. They just had a mistake on the broadcast. This is. Look at this Vikings roster. I can't. My mind is all flustered right now. I thought it was going to be a corner. That's probably what I would have done, but you got Jonathan Grenard, Andrew Van Ginkel, Jonathan Bullard, Harrison Phillips. Now you had Dallas Turner? Okay, okay, okay. You get JJ McCarthy as your future quarterback? You get a Bama pass rusher? What team last year took a quarterback and a Bama pass rusher? The Houston Texans. This Minnesota Vikings team is not that far away from being one of the best teams in the NFL. Let me replace that. One of the best teams in the NFC. The NFC North. Cincinnati's on the clock here. Corner, you would think, man. Okay, so Vikings traded a fifth for this year, a third and a fourth pick for next year to move up 6 picks. I don't know about that one, man. I love Dallas Turner, but trading away basically 3 picks and a pick swap in the first round, move up 6 spots when you could have took Jared Verse at 23 or a top corner at 23. I don't know. Interesting. Those glasses are terrible, by the way. Got a little bit of a defensive run going here, so Cincinnati, I think Johnny Newton or a corner. I would probably go corner if I was them. And then you have the LA Rams after them who might go cornerback as well. That was unexpected, but man, that was cool. That was unexpected but cool, man. We're heading into a commercial break. A 2025 third and a 2025 fourth. Kind of expensive, but hey, you know, I get it though. Good thing for the Jaguars. We have now entered the second half of the draft, and I think let's say we have about an hour and a half left. I think Minnesota, man, I gotta say, I think Minnesota might have won the draft thus far. You're able to take 2 first-round picks like you had initially. You still are able to get the quarterback that you want in JJ McCarthy, and you arguably just got the best defensive player of the entire draft. Pretty nice haul, in my opinion. Um, I wasn't as high on Dallas Turner as a lot of other people. He was my edge number 2. People had him as the consensus number 1. I like Jared Verse a lot. So for Verse to still be available, I think a team who's going to get him is going to get a very talented player. Bengals pick is in. I think it's going to be cornerback. You lost a couple corners. Chidobe Awuzie being probably the biggest one. Maybe you go with the Johnny Newton, very good player as well. He could be the pick there. And these commercials, they're killing me, dude. I think this is the last commercial. All right, we're back. And we are about to be no offense to Caitlin Clark, but why are we talking about Caitlin Clark, man? Yeah, I'm kind of confused on what the Falcons are doing with this year's draft as well. I don't know. A lot of other options were on the board for them to go with. Penix was a little bit, I don't know, a little rich for me, is how I'll put it. That early, at least. I don't know. Bengals could go Cooper DeJean here. That would actually be a very good pick. Uh, still T Higgins is still on the roster, so we'll have to kind of keep an eye out on that as the draft goes on. I need these picks to start picking up, man. All right, here is the Bengals pick. I'm gonna guess. I might actually go with Fontenot. I'm gonna go Troy Fontenot here. Put him in at guard. That's my guess here. Oh wow. Okay, Amarius Mims. I mean, you already have your tackle positions kind of filled, so I guess they're building for the future. But man, I don't know. It's a good pick, don't get me wrong, but dude, I don't know. That's a Bengals team that's kind of in a predicament where they need to win now. It's a win now year, and you're getting a young player who I don't know if he's gonna start next year. But the thing with the Mims is, this is a guy who you probably want to develop anyways. So letting him sit behind a Trent Brown or a I'm gonna get his name eventually, their left tackle, makes a lot of sense. So, but at the same time, I don't know, dude. They have a lot of needs. We are at the 19th pick, and all the top corners are still available. So that's a little interesting, man. That is a little interesting. Interesting pick there, man. Very interesting pick. I guess they're going for the more long-term, experimental, high upside offensive tackle. I would have went with the corner though. That looks to be the guy they wanted though. That's probably who they were targeting the whole time. LA Rams with their first round pick. Rams are an interesting team. This could be Johnny Newton or this could be a cornerback. This is their first round pick since 2016. That is freaking nuts. Huh. Rams could be in business for a corner here, so I'm gonna guess this is a cornerback. I'm gonna say this is going to be Terrion Arnold. That's my guess here. Rams pick is in. Let's see who they take. Need a little help here. Yeah, the microphone, dude. I'm gonna say this is going to be Terran Arnold here. That'd be my guess. Or it could be a Jared Verse here. That would be a good pick as well. the Rams fans' voice keeps cracking. That's hysterical. Could be Johnny Newton here. I would like that pick a lot there if it was Johnny Newton. I still can't believe that not a single cornerback has gotten off the board here. We are now what, 5, almost 20 picks in and not a single cornerback. What am I getting a warning for? I don't know what that means. All right, Rams are here. Nice, good pick. LA Rams take Jared Verse. That's a good pick. I mean, you're getting a good pass rusher, good run stuffer, kind of an all-around, do-it-all, lengthy guy who can just do a bit of everything. That's a nice defensive line room. Yeah, you're right. The dude is a dog. He's a dog. I like that pick for the Rams there, man. Getting him at pick number 19 is very good value. Very, very, very good value. Six foot 3, 254, I think he said. Okay. All right, Pittsburgh on the clock. What does Pittsburgh do now? I guess this could be setting them up for a wide receiver here. Brian Thomas Jr. would make a ton of sense. I've been saying Amarius Mims would be the pick here because you have 2 Georgia offensive tackles, but man, you put a Brian oh dude. Breathe. I thought you were talking about Jared Verse being a dog. I didn't even connect the two. That dude is hyped. He looks hyped to be an LA Ram. I would be too. Playing in LA, that's a good team he's playing on, a good defensive line. Good for him, man. Good for him. Oh. That's a fun defensive line, dude. Dude, yeah, Jared Verse. No, he's a for real dog. Again, I had Jared Verse in my. Oh, my memory's so bad. I think he was towards my top 10. I would have had no problem if he was a number 1 defensive player in this year's draft. I really like Jared Verse a lot. That's a A- pick. I mean, they have other needs. Like I think that Terran Arnold would have been a good fit, but man, it's a good pick there, dude. I think the Steelers could go cornerback here too. I'm gonna guess they're gonna go with Terran Arnold. Dude, I'm getting out of ESPN, man. They got too many ads. Good lord. Okay, I switched to NFL Network and it was also ads. Whatever. I don't really know. I feel like at this point in the draft, a lot of the expectations we had for the draft are just starting to go from here to here to here. It's kind of crazy. I wonder what team towards the back end of this first round is going to trade back, because I could see a team like Dallas trading back a few spots to get some picks. I know they don't have their fourth, and I feel like Dallas has to feel pretty happy with how the board's fallen. I mean, Troy Fatanu is still on the board. Jackson Powers Johnson is still on the board. Tyler Guyton, Jordan Morgan, Zach Frazier, Graham Barton, they're all still on the board. The cornerbacks are still on the board. I mean, if you're Dallas, you want to create a strength. Imagine Trevon Diggs, Deron Bland, and Quinion Mitchell or something crazy like that. Like, that would be nasty. Yeah, I mean, if Detroit as well, honestly. If you trade back, get a couple extra picks, I mean, the board's fallen quite nicely for a lot of these teams in the back end of the first round because of the run of the offensive players. I mean, I don't know. I thought there'd be a bigger run on tackles at this point, but we haven't quite gotten that run of tackles quite to the extent that I think we would have thought we would have seen by now. All right, Steelers pick is in. Let's see what they do here. I'm gonna guess cornerback here. You need to add something alongside Joey Porter Jr. Also, wouldn't be shocked if this was a Brian Thomas or an Xavier Worthy, or even an Xavier Legette, or even a Lad McConkey. Honestly, they do need some receiving help. Wow, night one record for Detroit, man. Hey, shout out to Detroit, dude. One of my favorite teams heading into next year. I'm not gonna spoil my. This is gonna be a video probably multiple months down the line here, but I think the Lions might be my favorite to win the NFC next year. I'm shocked that Fat now is still on the board, or Fatanu, however you say his name. Man, the cornerbacks, dude, they're still on the board. Can't get over that, dude. Miami needs offensive linemen. They might go with, if Fatanu's still on the board there for Miami, that's probably going to be their pick, and that'd be a very good pick, to be honest with you. Oh, Cam Hayward's coming out here for the Steelers pick. I'm gonna guess Terrion Arnold. I feel like this is my fourth time saying his name, but they could use a corner. All right, Cam, let's make this pick. It kind of feels like a graduation for these players. All right. Oh, okay. So they do take Troy Fatanu, man. That's a nice offensive line, man. Dude, the dude is crying. His, I'm assuming grandma or mother is just giving him this like the side eye. What the? That's a good, solid pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Putting Fatanu alongside Broderick Jones, that offensive line is pretty nasty. They could even move him to the inside if they really wanted him to. That's a nice pick, man. I like that pick for the Steelers a ton. I think he's I don't want to say he's undersized, but I would like to see him put on a little bit more weight, especially if he does move inside at guard. I mean, he's a thick, really thick dude, and he's very athletic when it comes to screens and if you need him to get up to that second level. But I have a feeling that against like really good, strong pass rushers, like especially bull rushers, I think he might struggle a tad bit. So I wonder if that's a concern, but good ass player, dude. Very good value for pick 20, by the way. So some injury concerns is why he fell down the board here. So we got Miami Dolphins, Philadelphia, Jacksonville, and then Dallas. Miami Dolphins pick is in. Miami, what would they take? I feel like they got to take an offensive lineman, dude. They have a pretty big makeshift offensive line right now. Maybe it's a Guyton. Maybe a Jordan Morgan slips into here. Maybe you go pass rusher, but I don't know who's the next guy. Maybe you go Chop Robinson here. That would be a good pick. Or a Johnny Newton to be your Christian Wilkins replacement. That actually might be what they do here. I'm gonna go Johnny Newton for that pick. That'd be a good pick, to be honest with you. We're at pick 21. I think we have what, maybe I don't know, maybe an hour left or so. Knicks lose to the Sixers, by the way. That's tough. I was going for the Knicks. still wonder if there's a team that might trade down out of this position because of all the talent that's still on the board here. And I really wonder where Jackson Powers Johnson goes because the dude is a ridiculously talented player, somebody who a lot of people have in their top 15, but because he plays that center position, he might fall out of the top 25. I wonder if a team like a Dallas or even a Detroit maybe tries to take him if he's still available. Or I wonder if they could trade down to get him at that. If you can trade down and get a JPJ, I would do it in a heartbeat. But then you have to guarantee that you get him, which is the tough part. Okay, I actually do know the pick. I stumbled upon it on Twitter. The pick is Chop Robinson. Good pick. I mean, I don't know. Edge rusher wasn't their biggest need per se, but going out there and getting I don't know. Chop Robinson's an interesting player. I don't think that production wise it's up to par for a first round pick, but I think his upside is high up there with a lot of really talented players. I would have probably went with what would I would have went there? I probably would have went with Graham Barton. I think that's probably what I would have taken there. But I can understand why they'd want to go there. Still, not a single cornerback has fallen in the draft. So that tells me that, dude, honestly, Dallas, because you got to think Philadelphia and Jacksonville will take corners, right? You got to think that those will be the two next one picks. So Dallas would have a chance to get a Cooper DeJean to maybe play safety on that roster. So you got to imagine Philly's going to take Quinion Mitchell here. And I think that Jacksonville will probably take Nate Wiggins or Terran Arnold, which would then leave Dallas up on the board. Dallas might be in a position to take a Graham Barton, who would be a very good fit for the Cowboys. The thing with Chop is, I don't know if he has that versatility to play on the inside. That's a Dolphins team that's looking to compete now. I think he's more of an experimental player, so I don't really know if I love that pick, to be honest with you. Commissioner's walking up there super slow. Four, 4.8, 40-yard dash, 254, 6'2", seventh at a 7/8. I don't know, 7/8, whatever that is. Big physical athlete, needs to really improve his productivity, getting to the quarterback, finishing off sacks, working on counter moves. Very, very raw, and that to me is a big concern. You're talking about a guy who needs to develop big time. Now, if he hits that development and he really turns into one of the top, developmental pieces on that roster, you're talking about a guy with really high upside as a player. I mean, we're talking like Von Miller level upside, but the dude is super raw. And taking him 21st overall, in my opinion, is a little bit questionable, man. Very, very high upside. But I think he can be a very, very good player. So it's a risky pick. Of all the picks in the first round thus far, I think this one has the highest likelihood of being a bust. But his ceiling is really high. So he could be the best player in the draft or a total bust. That's how I view about him. They needed some help in the defensive line room, man, though. Bradley Chubb can't stay healthy. Jalen Phillips has had some injuries. You lose Christian Wilkins. I think the offensive line was a bigger need, but man, I mean, makes sense. It makes sense a lot there. Now we got Philadelphia here at pick 22. I think we know who the pick is going to be here. It's probably going to be Quinion Mitchell. And man, that would be a total steal at pick 22 for the Philadelphia Eagles, man. Staying, because there was rumors of them moving up to pick 12 to get Quinion Mitchell, and now they're going to be taking him here at pick 22. That's tough, man. That's tough. Could even be Terran Arnold, to be honest with you. Although he typically does go with bigger name school guys, so this could be a Kool-Aid or a Terran Arnold as well. But Quinion Mitchell was the guy who all the rumors and reports were saying that they wanted, so I'm gonna go with based off the reports. I can't stand Eagles fans. Man, this is a good draft for the Philadelphia Eagles, dude. Not even gonna lie, they are gonna get a total stud. Dude, you know what? Like, if I'm Dallas or Green Bay, I'm trying to trade back. Honestly, get some draft capital, trade back, and you're gonna have your pick of whoever you want still. Arnold, Quinion, Brian Thomas, Graham Barton, Dejon, Newton, Guyton, Mitchell, McKinstry, Edgerrin Cooper. So many good players in this draft, man. Hey, I'm trying to trade back if I'm Dallas. Like, hey Buffalo, you want to trade? Give me your fourth round pick, and we'll swap picks, dude. Granted, I just don't see any team trading up at this point. I think a really good comparison for Quinion Mitchell is like a lesser version of Darius Slay, and the dude was a all pro level corner in his prime, so think of him at that level. You know what? Arizona's in a good spot here as well too, because they, in a similar position to a lot of other teams, have a lot on the board here that they probably really like. If Cooper DeJean or Nate Wiggins falls to them, then great. If a Graham Barton falls to them, if a Jackson Powers Johnson falls to them, then that's really good as well. I forgot the Eagles brought in CJ Gardner Johnson. I forgot about that. You even wonder too if they might go with a center here to replace Jason Kelce, but I don't think that's what they're gonna do. Eagles fans look like idiots. No offense, but dude, I hate Eagles fans. You know what'd be funny if they decided to go get an Xavier Worthy? Woof. Man, you'd have so much speed in that receiving room. Devontae. No, I don't want to think about it. Or Brian Thomas. Damn. That'd be scary. Here comes the commissioner, and I'm not gonna lie, the commissioner's walking a little slow, dude. All right, bro. Just tell us the pick. Really good, man. Just tell us the pick. All right, Jordan Mailata is going to tell us the pick. Quinyon Mitchell. Damn, that's a good ass pick, dude. That is a good pick, man. He doesn't look happy, by the way, at all. Maybe that's just his. He doesn't look happy at all. No smile, no nothing. I mean, he looks mad. Bro, this is the biggest day of your life, brother. It's the biggest day of your life. Why are you so sad, brother? I mean, I get it. Like, listen, I know you thought you were a top 10 pick, top 15 pick, and you're picking at 22, but man, dude, you're talking about generational worths of money, and you're going, dude, he looks mad, and you're going to a really good team. He looks so upset. Okay, there's a little smile from him. All right, there we go. Okay, we got a little smile from him there. A fantastic pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. Um, they're getting a really freaking good player. Okay, there's a little smile out of Quinyon now. There we go. Good for him. All right, there we go. Good for him, man. Good for him. There's a smile. Okay. Dude, Eagles they just know how to draft. And I feel like it has to be luck at this point because like they didn't do anything but just take the best player on the board, but man, that Eagles team is good, dude. If they have good coaching, they're going to be a legitimate threat in the NFC next year. I think they'll win the NFC East. All right, we have Jacksonville up next, and I feel like that is probably going to be Cooper DeJean, Terrion Arnold, or Nate Wiggins. And then Dallas is up after that, and I think Dallas will go Graham Barton. I'm going to guess Graham Barton for Dallas. I feel like Jacksonville shouldn't take too long on this pick because we know what you're doing, Jax. Unless you want to go receiver, which they could go receiver as well. Get an Adonai Mitchell. Dallas needs to take a receiver here. I would be really happy for Dallas if they went wide receiver. Good for him, man. Dude, first Toledo player to be taken, I think since he said like 1970 or something crazy like that. My voice is dying. Twitchy, tough, breaks on the ball really well, can get a lot of pick sixes, I think, in the NFL level. Uh, questionable competition he went up against, and he wasn't really asked to do a whole lot at Toledo because of just the competition around him. But when he was at the Senior Bowl, man, they asked him to do a lot, and he looked really freaking good. You know, by a lot of really good players in that Senior Bowl, man. So that'll be interesting to see how he plays with Slay and those guys. Jacksonville's pick is in like immediately, so you gotta imagine they're probably taking Terrion Arnold will be my guess, and I think that would be a fantastic pick. They were able to trade down, get picks, and then go out there and get a Terran Arnold, that'd be a nice little haul right there. Who they trade back with? I forgot. They traded back with Minnesota for some late picks, third and fourth pick next year, and I think a late pick this year. So that's good value, man. And then we have Dallas next, and man, Dallas is gotta be pretty happy with the way the board fell for them. You gotta wonder if they might try to trade back and get more picks. Dude, the Jaguars have Tony Khan, who's the like I think an executive or somebody for AEW, which is like a sports wrestling thing, and he got like power drives or something like that in AEW. Dude is wearing a neck brace. That's so stupid. That's so funny. All right, here's the pick. I think it'll be. I'm gonna go Terrion Arnold. I think I said. I'm gonna go Arnold. Oh, okay. No, they went with Brian Thomas Jr. I would have went with Terry on there. Um, I am so shocked he's a here at pick 24, man. That's a good pick though for the Jags, man. They needed to find somebody for Trevor Lawrence to throw the ball to. And they get a guy 4.33, elite athleticism, very good production, touchdown machine. I don't know if he's really going to be somebody who's going to win a lot of 50-50 balls, but you put him alongside Christian Kirk, I mean, this is a good spot for him to go to. Listen, it's a contract year for Trevor Lawrence. He's going to need as many targets as he can get, so. He went from Louisiana to Florida. Can't complain there, man. I like that pick a lot, man. I would have probably went with Terran Arnold there to be like your Jalen Ramsey like cornerback of the future, but I can't complain with Brian Thomas, to be honest with you, at all. I think it's a good pick. Silky smooth, top speed, tracks ball easily, 6'2", 209. Ran a 4.33 at the combine. That is crazy good. I like this pick, man. I do. I wonder if he can translate into being a receiver one, but I don't know. I have a feeling Dallas is probably going to take the whole clock here to try to trade back, but the board is really set up nicely here for Dallas to really go best player available. Man, Terran Arnold to Dallas. I know it's not going to happen, but dude, could you imagine that secondary with those guys? Bland in the slot with Jordan Lewis. Actually, you'd probably run more dime package more likely, but I don't know how their defense is going to be set up with their new guy. Oh my god, they have a sell this team with a wow, I can't believe they let them have that in there. It's a Jerry Jones sign that says sell the team, and it has like a circle and a line through Jerry Jones' face. I can't believe they let them bring that in there because I'm pretty sure they're at AT&T Stadium, and I'm pretty sure they like have security and they have things like that. What do you do here if you're Dallas? I'm trying to trade back to get picks, but you got Graham Barton, Terrion Arnold still on the board, Adonai Mitchell's on the board, Jordan Morgan's still on the board, Xavier Worthy's still on the board, Jackson Powers Johnson is still on the board. I'm trying to trade back and see if I can get a deal with like Buffalo or Detroit, man. Or Arizona if they want to go get Terrion. Or even, fuck it, pardon my language, even Green Bay maybe. Mike Zimmer is their defensive coordinator now. They could go Johnny Newton here. He's still on the board. I don't know if they really need a interior pass rusher, but if they want to go best player available, he could be one of your top dogs. And that defensive line would be really good, you know, even though they lost a couple guys. I just feel like you could wait later in the draft and get like a T'Vondre Sweat or one of those guys later in the draft. Makai Wingo. I don't know. This is very interesting pick for Dallas. There's a lot of different directions they can go down with this pick. You would imagine they'd want to go with a Barton or a Jackson Powers Johnson because of their needs here. With losing Biadasz and losing Tyron Smith, we're now down to a minute left on the clock here, so that tells me that they might trade this pick here, dude. Less than a minute to go. Yeah, they're taking their time with this pick. I would have done the same thing as well. Do they go running? Dude, if they go running back, that would be crazy. $30 seconds left here for Dallas. Unless it's just the graphic that's behind. 25 seconds. I'm hoping the graphic is behind here on this one, or 20 seconds left. Okay, I think their pick is in. Oh, they traded with Detroit! Oh! They just traded with Detroit. Good move for Dallas. What did they get in return, man? Freeth, here you go, man. This is your Terrion Arnold, dude. This is where you get Terrion Arnold. Okay, Dallas now moves back, I think, the 29th pick. Okay, this is interesting. I'm assuming the Lions are going to go Arnold here. That would be nice for the Lions, man. Okay, Cowboys get a 3rd round pick in the 20. Oh, wow. Dallas gets a 3rd. Nice. Maybe they're going to go pass rusher here. Who would be available? Did they go with the Darius Robinson? Oh, they might go Johnny Newton here. I'm going to assume this is either Arnold, DeJean, Wiggins, or Newton. But if I had to guess, I'm going to go with Arnold here. By the way, Dallas trading down to get an extra third is extremely, extremely smart, man. They didn't have a fourth round pick. This is a loaded draft class. Now Dallas can add 2 extra players in the third round. Or sorry, 1 extra player in the third round. Oh, these Lions fans are about to go nuts. All right, here is the Detroit Lions pick. I think this is going to be Terron Arnold. That's what I would do. Here we are. Nice. Woo! Yep. Best team in the NFC, buddy. That's a nice pick, dude. They needed a physical dog in the secondary, and they freaking got it, man. They're gonna have a nice secondary, dude. Carlton Davis, Terron Arnold, Brian Branch. That's nice. He looks so freaking happy right now. That's a good pick, dude. That is a damn good pick for the Detroit Lions. Being able to sit at pick 24 only having to give up a third round pick to get maybe the best cornerback in the draft, my best corner in the draft, Terrion Arnold. What a freaking move by them. That's a good. That's how you do it, man. Wow. Lions fans are starting to leave now. Oh wow, what a moment. What a moment, man. This is cool. Oh, of course, the thing. My thing started lagging. This is so cool, though. What a moment. That's such a good pick, dude. Taron Arnold to the Detroit Lions. I mean, dude, it doesn't get much better than that. I went from the Lions to the Packers. All right, so Packers are now on the clock. I think this might be Graham Barton here. That's a fun pick, man, for the Lions, dude. They're gonna get a really good player in Taron Arnold. They got to feel very, very happy about that pick, man. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Packers on the clock again. I think this is gonna be Graham Barton on the for them. I think that makes the most sense. And then after that, Cardinals or I guess Tampa Bay's pick is also one reportedly. That's great. They went from cheers and very happy moment to now you're getting boos to the Green Bay Packers. That's very unfortunate for the Lions. What will the Packers do here? I'm guessing Graham Barton. Oh, wow, that's not going to go very well for Packers fans. Packers fans really wanted Graham Barton. They went with Jordan Morgan. I like Morgan. Probably going to move inside as a guard, but can also play at that tackle position if they need him to. He's a people mover. He's a strong physical guy. I don't know, man. Graham Barton's a better player, dude. He just is. But it's still a good player. Don't get him wrong. I had a late first, early second round grade on Jordan Morgan, so this is probably around where I would have taken him, about as early as I would have taken him. I think Dallas, or I guess the 24th overall pick, was about as early as I would have went for him. So this is a good pick for the Green Bay, but I probably would have went with Graham Barton on that one. And then we have Tampa Bay up next, so I wonder what Tampa Bay is going to do here. I'm going to go with Buccaneers going with Darius Robinson, although there could be a Kool-Aid or a Nate Wiggins here as well. Wow. That was a cool moment, man. Just a handful of picks left in the first round. Tomorrow will be the second round. I'll have a video out tomorrow. I think I'll do grading every single first round pick. So we'll do that tomorrow. And I will not be live tomorrow because I have class, unfortunately. So unfortunately I won't be live tomorrow, but we'll do a video after that, talking about some winners and losers of the day two. Commercials, commercials, commercials. Hopefully with this commercial though, we'll start going back to back to back on these picks. Uh, bu- 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 What's up, dude? My God, so many commercials right now. think after this one we should be back live, and then we'll get to the Buccaneers, Cardinals, and then Buffalo, and back to Dallas. I think Tampa Bay is gonna go one of the corners or maybe a defensive lineman. They could also go Graham Barton as well. Actually, I think I might actually consider Graham Barton or Powers Johnson to them. They do need some help on the interior of their offensive line. There they cat. All right, man. Come on. Let's move it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right, Buccaneers pick is in. Let's see what they do here. I'm gonna go Graham Barton. All right, Graham Barton. It's a good pick, man. You can play center, guard, tackle, like quite literally wherever you need him to play out. He's gonna be a really good player for that team. That's really good value for the Buccaneers, honestly. Like for them to take him that late, that's really good value. Okay, give me a few seconds. I gotta go run outside and do something real quick. I'll be back. Sorry, I'll be back in like 30 seconds. Give me a minute actually. I apologize. Had some things I had to take care of. Oh, my laptop's gonna die. Okay, Darius Robinson going to the Arizona Cardinals. Not a very good pick. I don't like that pick much, to be honest with you. It does offer versatility along the defensive line. Can play him on the inside, can play him on the outside. I don't know, man. I would have went corner, dude. Cooper DeJean, Nate Wiggins, Kool-Aid. One of those guys, dude. All right, Buffalo's up next. I think this one's going to be a receiver, and I would have to guess Adonai Mitchell would likely be the pick here. Ooh, a trade. Hold on. Oh! The Chiefs just traded with the Buffalo Bills. Will the Bills not learn their damn lesson? Okay, Buffalo is just traded their pick to Kansas City, and I think the Chiefs are going to be taking Xavier Worthy here. I did not think the Chiefs were going to trade up, but they just traded up for the 28th overall pick right in front of Dallas. I don't think that really changes up what their plan was regardless. Dude, another commercial. I think that this is going to be a receiver. Question becomes, okay, is it Ladd McConkey? Is it Adonai Mitchell? Is it Bryant? Or I guess he's taken, but is it Xavier Worthy? Who's it going to be? I think it'd be Worthy or Adonai. I think Worthy would be a better fit with what they typically do. But I think Adonai is the better receiver project, quote unquote. Like I think if you're gonna take a Texas receiver, I'm taking Adonai Mitchell, to be honest with you. I think Dallas is gonna go with Jackson Powers Johnson to shore up the middle of the offensive line. And I think Baltimore will likely take I don't know. I don't know what Baltimore's gonna do. They could also take a receiver as well, to be honest with you. But then they also might go corner. Johnny Newton's still available too. Dallas could go Johnny Newton. Keep that in mind. Or maybe, well, no, the Chiefs have Chris Jones still. All right, here we go. Chiefs are on the clock and they are about to take their pick. And it's probably going to be for a wide receiver. They brought in Marquise Brown. Maybe you go with a more physical guy like an AD Mitchell who is really big and strong and physical at the point of attack. Really good route runner. I think he'd be a good fit for this team. I'm gonna assume this is AD Mitchell here. I agree with you saying. Why would you trade with the Buffalo? Why would you trade with the Kansas City Chiefs if you're Buffalo? It's the team that you have struggled with the most. And I get it. Take some draft capital away from them. Get some for yourself. But you do not trade with a rival like the Chiefs to give them a better player than what you're gonna get. Like they're probably gonna get Adonai Mitchell, Xavier Worthy, one of those guys, and you're not gonna take them if you're Buffalo. And trust me, Buffalo needs one of those guys. All right, Chiefs, commissioners up to the podium. All right, here we go. Okay. Oh my damn. That is such a good fit, dude. Just give him the championship. Dude, you put him with Patrick Mahomes and all those speedy weapons, dude. This is. Dude ran a 4.2, I think, won the combine. And he's a good route runner, too, man. They're going to know how to use this dude, man. Jesus. That's such a good pick for the Chiefs, man. I kind of wonder why they trade up to get him, though. I feel like they probably could have got him at 32, to be honest with you. I really agree with what he said. Why would you trade with the freaking Chiefs if you're the Bills, man? You just gave the Chiefs Xavier Worthy. Wow. I will say he's going to struggle against press man coverage, but if there's a team that knows how to work with Xavier Worthy's skill set, it's the same guys who had Tyreek Hill. Buffalo made a stupid mistake trading with the Chiefs. I get it. Get more draft capital. You can probably still get AD Mitchell or Lad McConkey later in the draft, but dude, you just don't trade with the freaking Chiefs, man. Cowboys pick is in at 29. I think this is either going to be Johnny Newton or Jackson Powers Johnson. I'll say this: I don't want the Cowboys to take Tyler Guyton. And you could even, I would say that Adonai Mitchell would be a good pick for the Cowboys as well. Here we go, Cowboys. Ugh. No disrespect. This is the one guy I didn't want Dallas to get. Not a good pick. Not a fan of this pick. Very raw, massive offensive tackle, has a lot of stuff he needs to work on. Played on the right side of the offensive line, which is a strength for the Dallas Cowboys. They need a left tackle, and you're not going to move him to left tackle in his rookie year. He's just not. When you have Jackson Powers Johnson on the board and Jerzon Newton on the board, Adonai Mitchell's on the board, I don't know about this pick, man. I don't know about this pick, to be honest with you. I will say their two offensive tackles are freaking massive. All right. Baltimore is up with their pick. I think this might be a cornerback. If I had to guess, I'm going to go with Nate Wiggins or Kool-Aid McKinstry for this one. I'd be a little surprised if it was a Cooper DeJean, even though they did lose Geno Stone. So maybe you go with DeJean to flex out as a safety sometimes. That would make some sense. I did not like that pick for Dallas. Did not like that pick for Dallas. Not gonna lie. I would have went with Powers Johnson, Jerjon Newton, Adonai Mitchell. I would have went corner over Guyton. I don't know. Interesting pick there. Very interesting. I will say Dallas is notorious for developing raw players. I mean, but at the same time, like, dude, like, I look at some of the offensive linemen that Dallas drafted. Like, Tyler Smith wasn't very raw. To be honest with you, he wasn't very raw. Zach Martin wasn't very raw. Tyron Smith wasn't very raw. Right, those were guys who came out of college, really good players, and sure they developed them a little bit, but they didn't really. Nate Wiggins to the Ravens, good pick. But Dallas didn't really have to develop those guys to the same level as you're going to have to do for a Tyler Guyton. Guyton is somebody who plays right tackle. Dallas already has a right tackle with Terrence Steele, who struggled, by the way, last year, but you just paid the guy, so he's going to be your future offensive tackle. Now the question becomes, do you move Terrence Steele to left tackle? Do you maybe flex him out to left guard and move Tyler Smith to left tackle? Or I don't know. Do you keep Guyton and just say you can play left tackle? But when he was playing left tackle, he really struggled. This is an interesting pick for Dallas. I don't like, straight up hate it. Like, it's not the worst in the world. Like, worst in the world would have been like taking Jonathan Brooks round one, which would have been crazy. But I don't love it. So many good players on the board, man. Jackson Powers Johnson's my top 15 player to me, or I don't know if he's top 15 on my list, but top 20 player for me. Very good center prospect. Dallas needs a center. I guess they're rolling with Brock Hoffman at center unless they decide to draft one with like a Cedric Van Pran, which actually would be a nice pickup, low key. Nate Wiggins pick 20 or sorry, pick 30. That is very good value for Nate Wiggins. In most mock drafts, he was taken usually around the top 10 to 20. And man, you get him at pick 30, that's such good value. Very good cornerback prospect for the Baltimore Ravens, who are just continuously getting better and better. Lost a couple pieces this offseason, but now you bring in a guy like Nate Wiggins, who does have a smaller frame and has a lot of development to do. But golly, man, the dude is he's a player, man. He's a baller. Very good in coverage, both man and zone. Needs to put on some weight, but man, he's a good ass player. Man, man, man. Wonder what Cowboys fans are saying right now. I feel like both my teams, the Raiders and the Cowboys, do not have a good draft thus far. You know, at least up to this point. Okay, so here's some good little stats here about Tyler Guyton that maybe could change my mind. Played 92% of snaps at right tackle for Oklahoma. A nimble big man who is great mover in space. Shows great promise in run and pass block. Great athlete who is just learning football. Needs time to develop, but he has a high level starter potential. Had an RAS score, which is like an athlete. It's called the relative athletic score of a 9.71. Had a 4.1 40-yard dash, 2.97 20-yard split, 1.76 10-yard split, which is really good. Vertical jump of 34.5, which is really good. Good height, good length. All right, man. I'm just saying, I still would have taken, man. I still would have taken Newton over him. I would have taken Powers over him. We have two more picks left in the draft. We have the Buffalo Bills and the San Francisco 49ers, and then we are going to be leaving the live stream and calling it a day. I think the Niners will probably go offensive lineman, but they could also go cornerback here as well. Cooper DeJean make a lot of sense this team. And then Buffalo probably going to go with like an Adonai Mitchell. That would make some sense. This could be Jackson Powers Johnson, honestly. Ugh. Or this could be the dude from Yale. Oh, okay. That was shocking. Ricky Pearsall makes it into the first round. Listen, I liked Ricky Pearsall and I thought he was a very underrated prospect, but I did not think he was a first round guy. Not over Lad McConkey and Adonai Mitchell. Very interesting pick there. Don't I wonder if what the thought process is with that one. Are they potentially preparing for to lose Debo or to lose Brandon Ayuk? If you're going to replace Ayuk, you'd want to replace him with like an Adonai Mitchell, right? Not necessarily a Ricky Pearsall. This might be I like Ricky Pearsall, and I'm not going to try to I'm not going to try to really like jump on this pick and say it's a really bad pick. But this might be one of those picks where we're like, why did they take Ricky Pearsall over a guy like Adonai Mitchell or Xavier Leggett? Now, again, I like Pearsall. I think he's going to be a good player, but I don't know, man. Ooh, that is a nasty catch. I did not see a Ricky Pearsall move in the first round. Whoa. All right, Buffalo's back up with pick number 32. This has got to be Adonai Mitchell. A trade again for the Buffalo Bills. Bills trade with Carolina. Wow, okay. Panthers move up one spot to get, I guess, receiver here. I'm assuming this is going to be either Lad McConkey or Adonai Mitchell. Did Carolina give up? Oh, okay, they did. They just changed it. Okay. So they just swapped picks, I'm assuming, and probably give him like a sixth. Interesting decision by Buffalo. I mean, it makes sense. Get as much draft capital as possible because you need as much talent as you can. Come on, Panthers, take Adonai Mitchell. Take AD Mitchell here. That would be a very good addition. He has wide receiver one upside. That would be an A plus pick for them. So Bills trade back twice to get even more draft capital. That's a good move by them, to be honest with you. Okay, so the Bills get a second and a fifth, or Bills get the 33rd and the fifth, and the Panthers get a 32nd and a sixth. So not a whole lot, but hey, you get a fifth round pick out of that. That's not bad. To move up one spot, and I'm assuming the Bills are probably going to get the guy they still wanted. Who do they give Bryce Young as a weapon here? Oh, this could be Leggett. I'm assuming this might be Leggett, and then I'm assuming the Bills are going to take Adonai Mitchell to start the second round. But then why would you trade it? All right, guys, quit dragging out. All right, here we go. Carolina Panthers with the 32nd pick and the last pick of the NFL draft. All right, Xavier Leggett, good pick. I would have taken Adonai Mitchell, but I like this pick a lot. High upside, big frame body. Big physical guy. All right. So, like I said, tomorrow we're going to be doing a full grading each pick video. So, if you guys enjoyed the breakdown, we'll be back tomorrow for a new video. Appreciate you guys joining us out, and I'll be back in a couple days, or I'll be back.